Will we meet another Vegapunk in this episode? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 1093 of One Piece. So, we've met a couple of the different Vegapunks, and now a police Kuma, a police pacifista, is after Luffy and the crew because they apparently were supposed to pay for stuff, and Atlas never told them that. They were supposed to pay for the clothes they got, for the food they got. They were never told this. The machines never said anything about this. So how were they supposed to know? I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, you have to pay for shit. But Alice and the machines themselves very much made it come across as if that stuff was for free. I would not say that that is their fault. At the same time, Bonnie stops Luffy from attacking the pacifista, defending, himself against it. Because we are told Bonnie reveals that Kuma is her father, which I already knew. But we get the official confirmation in the series, and obviously everyone reacts to that. They knew that she had told them before that her father was turned into a cyborg and everything, but it just never really connected with them, I guess, that cyborg was Kuma. Now, we know where the real Kuma is at the moment. How long he's going to remain there is another story. But the bigger question is, I have to assume she knows that this pacifista isn't her father, isn't actually Kuma. But I'm wondering, like, is it just because of, it being in his likeness that she doesn't want it to be, attacked and destroyed? I have to assume so. But I'm definitely interested in finding out more about this backstory because while I knew that Kuma was her father, again, I don't know everything. As I've said before, when I do see these spoilers, because again, the One Piece community is shit with that, I'm seeing them out of context. I only get like the briefest information. It's like, oh, Kuma is Bonnie's father. Cool. Give us some backstory because I don't know that. I'm very interested to see exactly why he ended up becoming a cyborg in the first place. What his relationship with Bonnie was like, though based on what we saw from that brief snippet last time, it seemed very positive. Are we going to find out who Bonnie's mother is? There's a lot of questions, I feel, that we need to get answered still. Because again, like I said, I know only the bare minimum. So while I do know a couple things that are still to come, I don't know context behind them. And hopefully we delve into that more in this episode. Now, last time we didn't check in with the rest of the crew who are with Lilith, so I'm wondering if we're going to do that this episode as well. I'm not sure. But I'm excited as always to find out. We didn't have an episode last week because of a break, I guess. So I'm very excited to get back into this. Let's just do so. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. When we began this episode, I was thinking to myself, okay, this episode's going to focus on this Blackbeard and Law stuff. But I want to get back to Vegapunks. I want to get back to Egghead and get all of that stuff, see what's going on there. By the end of this episode, I didn't care. I didn't care that we changed the focus. Um because that was just so fucking epic. Like, not just the phenomenal animation, because the series has been doing that for a while now, but like on top of even the Blackbeard Law fight, which wasn't as one-sided as I expected. Law did put up a good fight, but on top of that, we also find out that the Blackbeard pirates have kidnapped Pudding, which again makes sense. They need a way to be able to read the poneglyphs. They don't have Robin, so Pudding makes sense because she's from the Three Eye tribe, and they can read poneglyphs. So yeah, the fact that they just like went in and like with Van Auger and Kuzan just completely obliterated everyone there. Like, Jesus. I what the fuck is like, I'm trying to think of things that Kuzan, like reasons Kuzan could be working for Blackbeard. Is he like acting as a spy for the Marines? I mean, I know he quit. He quit the Marines, but could he still be like working with them? Maybe him quitting was a ruse of sorts. Maybe he, yeah, and this is a wild theory, but maybe he and Sakazuki actually came up with a plan by the end of their fight to have Sakazuki win, take over as fleet admiral, and Kuzan would then, quit, but work under Blackbeard as a spy. That's a possibility. I feel it's a notable possibility. What the only other thing I could think of is like he would be working with the Revolutionary Army, because I don't think he's working alone. Like, as much as I could see Kuzan working alone, I don't think he is for this. And he's not actually with Blackbeard. I'm fully convinced of that. Could he be with the Revolutionary? I guess it's possible. And I very much would not be opposed to that. I think that would be fucking badass. It's got to be either he's working with the Marines still, and or the world government, or he's with the Revolutionary. It's got to be one of those options. But the fact that he's willing to go this far, I mean, he's like deep undercover then. And he helped like freeze everyone in Whole Cake and has kidnapped Pudding. Like, the only one who we saw that wasn't frozen in at least Chocolat Town. I assume he probably didn't get to all of Big Mom's children. But the only one we saw there that wasn't frozen was Brule, who was, panicked and crying over seeing her siblings frozen, because Brule actually has a heart and is one of the better children of Big Mom. It's actually really weird. I kind of like Brule. I think she's actually kind of a sweetheart. And it's definitely because of her relationship with Katakuri. Like, is Katakuri still out of commission after his fight with Luffy? Because he would not have stood for this. But also, at the same time, would he have been able to beat Kuzan and Van Auger? Because honestly, I think Kuzan and Van Auger are stronger than Luffy was when he fought Katakuri. I genuinely think that they are. I don't know if he would have even been able to stop them anyways. He would have tried if he could have, but... Also, according to what Pudding and them are saying, I guess Big Mom is confirmed dead. So that's a thing. At least they think she is. There's that. At least they believe she is. Which, from what we saw in Wano, kind of assumed so as well. Um, but yeah, it's just like, this is just insanity. Again, we're only like a few episodes in. Like, we're like, what, 4 episodes into this arc? Into this new saga? The final saga? Like, I understandably that they're gonna start dropping bombs. It's the final saga. Oda is 100% gonna be dropping bombs like crazy. I mean, we're already getting Vegapunk. That's already a big fucking deal. That he's been built up forever. But now we're also, getting Kuzan, helping the Blackbeard pirates kidnap Pudding. We're getting Law versus Blackbeard. We're getting to actually see what the Heart Pirates can do outside of Law and Beppo. It's like, what the fuck is even happening right now? And we find out why Blackbeard went after Law. It wasn't specifically that he was going after Law. He just knew Law, Luffy, or Kid, one of them was going to come that way, and that they would have info on the road poneglyph from Wano, and he was basically going to take it from them by force. His goal was, simply to, get the information. It's not even to get the devil fruit ability, which is very interesting, because Law's devil fruit ability is pretty damn OP. It's, like I said, it's one of the strongest devil fruits we've seen in this series. And honestly, we have not even seen like the full capabilities of it. I'm very sure, like, we only just started to see what it's like awakened. So it's like, we definitely have not seen the full capabilities of the Op no Mi. I'm very curious as to what it can do. Like, when there's no restrictions, basically. And on top of that, like, I just don't know. Is Blackbeard gonna try to take it anyway, even though that wasn't like his goal here? I mean, like I said, Law is losing this fight. That's not even a question. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. The only question we really have now is, will Blackbeard take Law's devil fruit? And what's going to happen with the Heart Pirates as they lose? Also, I mean, I guess the last thing I'll mention in these afterthoughts is the entire feminization thing. Again, we know why Oda did that. Like, the entire Oda is horny thing is a lot of people say it as a joke, but let's be honest, it's fucking true. It's not just a joke. This is not new information. The way, like, Oda has drawn these characters, especially a lot of the female characters, Oda is fucking horny. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's actively nothing wrong with that. And it's his manga. He can draw it any way he wants to. If he wants to draw these girls with big-ass titties and, thin waists and everything, make them look as sexy as possible, it's like, that's his right. And again, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to draw sexy characters. There's nothing wrong with being horny. So it's like, we know why he did this. Gender bending is really popular in fandoms as well. So a gender bent, sexy female Law, it's like, yeah, we get it. But in terms of in-universe, like I was saying in the reaction, this has to be somehow connected to Ivankov, right? Because the thing is, Ivankov has the hormone fruit. They can mess with people's hormones and do all kinds of different things. But one of the big, like, most notable abilities that Ivankov has is the ability to change a person's physical sex. This is something that they've not only done on themselves, but on their lieutenant. They've done it on various other people here and there. This isn't new information, but it's the only other case we've seen of this so far. We have not seen anyone be able to do anything like this before. At all. So the idea that someone else could do this is foreign as a concept to us. It kind of makes no sense. So the question comes down to, is there a connection? Because when Ivankov uses the hormones, you know, their devil fruit ability activates and manipulates the hormones in the body. That's what causes the person's physical sex to change. That's what Ivankov is doing. We know this. What Doc Q did in this episode is a disease. He has the sick fruit, which I guess gives him the ability to spread diseases at will. This is a contagious disease that can spread through touch and is almost instantaneous. It turns whoever is afflicted into... it turns, presumably, masculine individuals into feminine. It feminizes the body. So those who have a more masculine, physical features would become more feminized. And I guess the severity of how severe the disease is in their particular bodies is how much they're feminized. Like if they have like only a small, like little bit of the disease, like maybe like they'll just become a femboy. I don't know. But obviously Doc Q did this like with a notable amount to, you know, fuck with them and throw them off their game. Which Law countered with using hockey, using his Color of the Supreme King in order to just, you know, kind of negate the effects of the devil fruit. Because the disease was done through the devil fruit, so it still counts. So I'm wondering, like I said in the reaction, does the disease like trigger the hormones in the same way that like Ivankov's ability does? Is it like does it do something to the hormones that causes this radical quick change? And that's what and when Ivankov uses their ability to, you know, do this, are they just like activating the hormones in the same way that the disease typically does? Maybe Ivankov learned how to do that with their ability through learning about this disease's existence. There has to be a connection. Because again, this is the only other case we've seen of this happening in this series. The connection has to be there. I'm fully convinced of that. I'm not 100% sure how. It's kind of just speculation at this point. And it's weird. A lot of people who watch this are probably just going to be like, you know, thirsting over fem law. And I'm just sitting here like, how is this happening? Why is this happening? What is the science behind this? I'm like just trying to figure it out. And I'm a horny person. Don't get me wrong. I'm a very horny girl. Like I get thirsty pretty easily. But at the same time, like my thoughts are more of like how this works within the world that we've established with One Piece. And yes, part of the reason is because of, trans jealousy. I won't lie. As a trans girl, I am jealous of this shit. Give me this disease. Make me sick. Because I want titties. I don't hide that. I've said this before. I want titties. And not just like the just fat I have because I'm, fat. I want like actual full titties. That is something I very actively want. So it's like the idea of Ivankov's devil fruit already was like the most appealing devil fruit in this series to me because of, body dysmorphia and everything. Or dysphoria, rather. But also it's like now I'm just like desiring to get a disease because apparently in this world getting sick gives you tits. It's like cough on me law, please. That's another kink that I don't need to get into right now. Oh, Jesus. This is one hell of a weird episode. But a fantastic episode, for sure. Like I said, by the end of the episode, I didn't even care that we weren't focusing on the egghead stuff at the moment. Because this was so interesting, so exciting, so, like, epic. That it's like, my focus was on that. Also, we get to see Blackbeard and his crew really work together, kind of for the first time. Like actually work together to this degree. Like, we've seen them all act before, but never, like, in this kind of way. We've never seen the crew, like, fight as a well-oiled machine. And my God, are they a well-oiled machine. Like, holy shit, they work amazingly together. Like, they are just on the ball. Like, without question, are so in tune with each other, it's scary. And I genuinely mean it's scary. Like, there's a shot in this, like, when it's, like, really starting to kick into the Sakuga, the amazing, phenomenal animation. There's a shot that shows Blackbeard standing there laughing with his eyes glowing red. He is fucking terrifying. I would probably say Blackbeard is the genuinely scariest character in this series. Not just because of his devil fruits, not just because of his power, but because of how much his crew and him just gel so perfectly together. The fact that they are this in tune with each other, like, honestly, and this might be an unpopular opinion, I think that they gel together stronger than the Straw Hats currently do. Now, obviously, the Straw Hats are going to have to, like, come together in a much stronger, much more impressive way when they eventually fight the Blackbeard Pirates. But most of the time when we see the crew fight together, it's mostly just like, oh, Frankie doing this awesome stuff. Robin's doing this awesome stuff. Zoro's doing this awesome stuff. They're usually either fighting completely separate battles, or when they do work together, like in, I don't know, say Fishman Island, in the climax of that, again, they're not like, they don't feel like as well, they just don't feel like a well-oiled machine. They're all kind of doing their separate things, and it kind of comes together a bit, but they're not like working in tandem in the same way that Blackbeard's crew is here. It just seems like Blackbeard's crew and their powers are so perfectly chosen for them to work together like this. Van Augur's warping ability is so fucking broken. Not just for him being a sniper, but for him adding, like, a level of, like, insane support for the rest of his crew. Like, oh, Blackbeard's falling through the sky. Let's just warp up there, touch him, warp away. Let's warp him right above the enemy so he falls down and attacks, like, right away. And Blackbeard was so on point with that, so on the timing with that. Like, my fucking god. Then you have, like, Doc Q being able to just throw around diseases as he wills, and stronger as a Pegasus. You have not Blackbeard, Jesus Burgess, who is, you know, already insanely strong normally, but now he has even more strength because of his new devil fruit. It's like, what the actual fuck, man? Like, how are... I'm not even 100% sure how the Straw Hats are going to beat them right now. And I'm being completely serious here. I don't think the Straw Hats are strong enough right now. As of right at this moment, where they are at the start of Egghead, I genuinely believe that the Blackbeard Pirates are on a whole other level. Obviously, we know the red-haired pirates are definitely on another level. But the Blackbeard Pirates are as well. I am fully convinced that the Straw Hats, if the Straw Hats fought the Blackbeard Pirates right now, the Straw Hats would get completely wiped. I believe that. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Jinbei, the strongest of them even, would get wiped. I cannot see them winning as they are now. Which is why they're not fighting the Blackbeard Pirates right now. They're not strong enough. Honestly, the only reason Law was able to put up a fight for as long as he was because his devil fruit is so fucking broken. The Op fruit is so fucking strong, and that's the only reason he was able to put up a fight as long as he was. Not to mention his crew, you know, surprising the other Blackbeard pirates with their abilities, because that just wasn't known about. It was just a surprise. That's the only reason that worked. Like, Law never had a chance of, like, really even doing much of anything in this fight. Honestly, the damage he dealt with that Shock Willie, I believe it's called, the damage he dealt with that was so minimal to Blackbeard that it was basically nothing. Here's the thing that I think it might be a controversial opinion. This is what I'm going to end on, by the way. I think Blackbeard is notably stronger than Kaido. Currently. Not like, oh, when we finally face Blackbeard, he'll be notably stronger. No, he is currently notably stronger than Kaido was. Sorry for the sirens you're hearing out there. Not really something I can help. Kaido was called, like, the world's strongest creature or something like that, but that was, like, a title given to him by, like, the government. It's honestly outdated as well. Like, he had that epithet before Blackbeard became as strong as he currently is. So, it's really... I not really been valid, I feel, for a while. Luffy proved that he's stronger overall, too, when he beat him. Mind you, he barely beat him, but he did beat him, and then that does still count. And he did beat him by ability and strength. He didn't beat him by, like, just trickery or whatnot. And, again, Luffy is nowhere near the level of Blackbeard right now. I stand by that. Blackbeard is actively, like, notably stronger than what Kaido was. Blackbeard currently would have stomped Kaido in Wano. Absolutely. Like, it would have still been a fight, of course, because Kaido's no pushover. But, so I guess it wouldn't be stomped. It wouldn't be, like, one-sided. But he would have beaten Kaido. Probably easier, not even probably, definitely easier than Luffy did. It would have been quicker. It would have been more easy for him. It wouldn't have taken as much effort as it took for Luffy by any means. Shanks would have stomped him. Shanks would have it would have been more one-sided with. Like, Shanks is absolutely like 100% like stronger than Kaido could ever have hoped to be. Shanks, I do believe, is on the level of Prime Whitebeard and Roger. I genuinely believe that. Like, that's not even a question to me. And honestly, it shouldn't be a question to anyone. It's just like, it feels like it's pretty much confirmed canon. It's just obvious. So, yeah. I truly believe that Blackbeard is going, because of how powerful he is and how well oiled his crew is, the Straw Hats are going to need to have major power-ups before they get to him. Like, major power-ups. Obviously, they're going to get stronger through every fight they have. They're going to get stronger in Egghead. But it's like, they're going to really need to, like, boost themselves here. I mean, for one thing, Luffy has to get more practiced with Nika, with Gear 5th. Because he's only, like, used that briefly, and he is not practiced enough with it. He needs to get to the point where that side effect doesn't happen. Just like how he got over the side effect for, like, Gear 3rd and Gear 4th and all. He needs to get to the point where the side effect for Gear 5th doesn't happen either. Because once he gets to that point, he's going to be, like, top of his game. But he's not quite there yet. Either way, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of One Piece? And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.